Hello and welcome to our podcast, as yet untitled, but came after Game Jam. So, I'm Peter Prince. I'm hosting this week. With me I have
Panda
and
Henry.
Cool. We previously did this as a radio show for University of Southampton, but now I'm not doing it as a radio show anymore. Doing it as a podcast.
We got kicked out into your house. I must admit, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping there would be beverages and snacks. But
not that much planning. Not that much planning was put into this. Okay, this is our pilot episode, so we'll start up with the news. Right, starting off, there was recently another patent was filed by Nintendo. There's just been continuous patents filed by Nintendo, and these have all been individual news stories.
They're trying to throw us off.
I was going to say, I reckon they've hired like some sort of spin doctor who's just like, get all of these patents, that way no one will know what the NX is.
Yeah. This one, only reason I brought this up is just because it looked really cool. Basically, the patent is for a design where you have a tablet and you have two attachments either side that are part of a controller, and you attach it either side of the tablet and makes it a controller.
Yeah.
But then if you don't have the tablet there, you can just fit them together and you've got a controller.
Okay, so I was going to say, I don't like the attach-on control. Like there've been things done like that with mobile phones before.
Yeah,
and I don't really like it with that because it never works well. But if you can just make a regular controller, and Nintendo controllers tend to feel nice. Like, even the Wii.
In my head, I'm just imagining they're slicing in half a GameCube controller and putting it either side of the tablet.
I feel like it's going to end up just being used explicitly as a control. Well, although it is not every now and then for some games nice to have the tablet there. I mean, I'm trying to think of the games which the Wii U tablet is actually good for, and there's.
I used it a bit in Wind Waker because in Wind Waker you could access your inventory without pausing the game, which was nice.
See, the funny thing with that is I'm playing it through with my girlfriend, and we play on the Pro controller, whatever it is, but the other person can just hold the tablet and swap your inventory items for you, if you need to do that.
I mean, that's the thing that sort of seems to be good for that. I mean, there are games which have modes based on somebody's controlling something on the tablet.
The thing about those ones is because all the tablet does is stream for the console. It doesn't have any kind of programming inside that can have that kind of thing. So that means that it's really low resolution on the screen, and it reduces the resolution on the TV as well, because it has to generate two pictures. I think Bayonetta 2 has a multiplayer mode like that.
Really?
Yeah, wow. So one person's on the tablet and one person's on the thing. Mario Chase works well.
That's good. I mean, it's very limited in design.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but...
Yeah. Yeah, there was just also interesting the fact that they're going again for like the tablet design for it, and very recently Nvidia, who were making the Nvidia Shield, apparently they reduced like a load of their orders and everything, and a source within the company claims it's because they are afraid of similar products coming from Nintendo. So either they have some kind of contact there, or
so wait. Is the tablet going to be any old tablet, or is it going to be a specifically designed tablet by them?
Probably specifically designed. Yeah. Although Nintendo did recently, yesterday, announce the fact that they're doing a partnership with Apple. So
yeah, I wonder if they're going to try and just get it, because loads of people have tablets right now, right?
Yeah.
And use them for just general gaming. So if you just had like something you could stick onto that, it'd be pretty.
Yeah, nifty. I suppose it'd be quite difficult to do though if people have all different kinds of tablets. You have to have contracts with Android and tablet.
Yeah, I feel that's the difficulty.
Yeah. Well, going on to that, there was yesterday was the Apple conference where they announced a lot of things. A lot of stuff to do with their wireless headphones.
The world was not best pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I think
impressed, I guess.
I know a lot of people who own wireless headphones, but like they use them for different things that you have regular headphones for. Like, you do them while you're working or something like that, but I don't know. Having the auxiliary port's nice, still. Yeah. Anyway, they brought out, Miyamoto came out and announced a runner game with Mario.
Is it like an endless runner?
Just an endless runner where you try and collect coins. It just looks like one of those games that someone on the Android store has made, like to rip off Nintendo. It just looks like one of those.
There is this weird thing of getting franchises and going, oh, there's this relatively popular type of game which is super simple, and I think they just outsource to random people.
I mean, it looks fairly high quality, like in terms of like it looks pretty. It uses graphics from the Wii game, whatever the last 2D Wii game was.
Just Super Mario the standard.
One of
Super
the new
Mario
Super
or-
Mario Bros.
Okay.
ones, yeah. And it don't think it has in-game like transactions or anything like that. It doesn't look like it.
Okay.
So yeah, they didn't announce
Then
anything like that. But
Where's the content? Isn't it just you're just running through? I guess that's what most
Yeah.
Mario games are, really. But
yeah, I mean, if it's really
Somehow.
cheap, if it's like £2, then
yeah.
fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Spotify actually recently announced they're introducing a new service called Spotify Gaming, which I thought was quite cool, and I saw no one talking about this. I just found it randomly. They have contracts with a load of companies, including EA and some Bethesda titles as well, where they just take the soundtracks for all of these games, and host them on Spotify. So they're available all times, which is really cool. Like, because obviously they've got contracts with all the like music producers and everything like that. But like, I never really thought about like making it kind of accessible. Because obviously there's covers and
I
stuff.
was worried that it was going to be like there's lots of things to do with like gaming playlists that are just music X person liked and put together and called a gaming
Yeah.
playlist, which has nothing to do with video games. If it's soundtracks for good games, then that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think one of the one they listed, all of the Dragon Age games are on there.
Alright.
All of the Sims games are on there. Because I went on there and they have
Okay,
literally
yeah.
like
Mhm.
30-second clips of like the store theme
Right.
from
Oh my God.
Sims 1 and stuff like that.
That's
Which I didn't
weird.
realise is just a loop. It's a
Yeah.
30-second loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's loads of games on there. Like, yeah, that's quite interesting. I thought, seeing as we talked about it so much when we had the radio show, talk a bit about Overwatch.
Right.
Yeah, because recently we've been playing a little bit of the competitive,
Yes.
and they redid all of the ranks and everything like that. I just thought we'd get people's opinions on the way that the rank system's changed from previously it was 0 to 100 were the ranks, and it was quite hard to move up within them, and apparently they were unhappy about the way that people were treating the ranks. The top 6% of all players were ranked 60 or higher. So
Wow.
yeah, so it didn't actually feel like that, but it didn't actually feel like that much of an accomplishment to be that high. Like if you were 55, you're still really, really highly ranked within like the player base,
Oh, really?
and basically no one was above 70. It was like less than 1%.
That's mad.
Yeah,
That's just weird.
How did that work out? Was it based on like? I mean that if they were like fitting a Gaussian curve or something to it, that probably would.
I'm not
have
sure.
Something like that, I suppose.
Over
but
60,
weird.
no.
But
No.
it's like-
That's a sharp drop.
I mean, like the way
Well, it
that
depends on where it's centered it.
yeah, like when we were playing it, I don't know like how your rankings were when you played in the previous season, but when I played, it was basically you get very, very little XP for actually going up, but going down is very, very easy. Like if you have a bad game, generally you don't get a lot of kills or you don't
Right.
like, contribute as much. So if you go up, you go up like a fairly standard amount. If you go down, you're probably going to go down a lot. So
I did hear lots of stories. I didn't play much of it after. I didn't play any after being placed first season. So,
okay, yeah.
but I did hear lots of stories along those lines. Yeah.
Also, draws weren't a thing, I guess. So
Yeah.
there were more losses in general.
Oh, yeah.
So
More
Yeah.
losses determined by random chance. But
yeah,
yeah.
so you had more extreme ranks, I guess.
Yeah.
New system's trash though because I got placed lower than I was before, so
Yeah, you got placed really low. Like everyone I've seen getting
did
placed.
really badly in all my placement matches. I got
Okay.
really sad.
So what? How many wins did you get on them?
Not many. I think it was like 3 wins. I can't remember how I need to add up in my head. It was something like 3 wins, 2 draws, and the rest losses or something.
Oh,
It was pretty bad.
I'm on, I think, 1 loss, 2 draws, 3 wins. I think.
Right. Okay.
What about you?
You're doing well. I've already been placed.
Oh, okay.
I don't specifically. I think it was like 3. I think it was 3 wins, 4 draws, and 3 losses. So.
Yeah.
You got quite a few
Yeah.
draws. on the
Considering,
plate,
yeah,
so-
they said that ties are supposed to be really difficult, but we
Yes.
got ties all the time.
I mean, the problem is is that it was all the like. It was the fact that it was on maps where nobody would get the first point, and then the other team would not get the first point either.
Yeah.
And that seemed on some maps that seems to actually be mildly common.
I guess the fact that the new map, Icon World, comes up also contributes to that a bit. That one seems very.
The first point is very hard to take, but it's weird. The only time I played that in comp mode, both sides actually managed to take the first point. I think,
Mm.
but Yeah, I don't know. It is a very strange map in comparison to the rest of them, I feel.
Yeah, it does seem like, because obviously other maps have like a choke point at the beginning, like the temple one, the Egyptian temple, has a choke point at the entrance, but the gate is massive. Like, it's really big compared to it.
Well, all the ones with a solid gate at the beginning have cover on the sides which you can immediately duck into. Like, in fact, this one does as well, but it just feels different.
It's a very small space to go through, unless you're someone who can fly or something like you to get into that side room. Yeah. But I mean, that was how we got around it, because I think the new system's better, but it still feels like it needs work, because there have been some games where I've drawn them, even though I was like, we were definitely worse than the other team. Yeah. But like, we just happened to get lucky on some, like, or we also managed to cap both points, but I don't think it was particularly like skilled. But yeah, like, I mean, there was the one we played on at Conval, there was where the other team were just like way better than us at holding the gate, so we just made every member of our team basically was able to go over the wall, like, so we just boosted everyone onto the point and managed to get around.
Also, Icomod's another weird one, just because the bit immediately after the first point seems really, really difficult to hold. After being really hard to hold in the first point, getting up to the gate is basically impossible to.
Yeah. Well, it's it's a weird sort of box, isn't it, with a building in the middle.
Yeah, because like the cart has to go round, but then you can easily sneak around behind the enemy team, because there's like literally a path.
There's so many directions to go. I mean, there's even the one on the far left.
You can go underneath.
Yeah, you can go like down a ton of way. I'd never see anybody going down there because it's all happens. Usually, all happens on the right side. People going like round the back behind that building, or inside the building, or on the platforms and stuff. I mean, there's I think the issue is that is essentially the whole level.
Yeah.
So there's so many tunnels and places to be in that section of the level. And
they're never used.
In the first bit and last bit is kind of a bit very tunnely.
Yeah. And then, the last bit, I actually quite like the last turning for it, because it has the good sort of distance between the enemies, like the defenders spawning in, so it doesn't have the problem where, like, if you just manage to kill all of them, you can quickly rush in before they even have a chance to defend. So, but I quite like it.
Yeah, it's actually probably one of my favourite maps, although it is strange.
I'm not sure. I think Volskaya is probably one of my favourite ones.
Right.
I quite like that one. It also has the sort of gate thing, but it's very, very wide, so it's hard to entirely block that off. Yeah. Okay. Also, yesterday was Sony's PlayStation meeting, where they showed off a load of PlayStation stuff. They announced the PS4 Slim, which is very, very small. And none of us are really like console gamers. None of us own PS4s or anything. The only reason I actually brought this up was because the PS4 Slim has been known about now for about a week. It was
leaked for a while ago.
It was leaked. Do you know how it was leaked?
Can't remember.
Some people up in the north of England started selling them on Gumtree. Sony were trying to do that thing where, they occasionally have like the Apple conferences where they say like, and it's available now. Yeah, apparently they tried to do that with the PS4 Slim, and what happened was a load of people in game stores and stuff got them early. Some of them got stolen, and then people started selling them on Gumtree, not realising that they hadn't even been announced yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's an easy target for the police then if they stole them.
Yeah.
That's true.
I guess it's people who didn't really realise.
Oh, you think they would have learned after people got arrested for looting in the riots in London when they started trying to sell stuff on eBay afterwards?
Yeah,
it's like,
all those people. Yeah. Or Facebook pictures of themselves with it.
Yeah. Another thing that got shown off at the PS4 event, PlayStation event, was some footage of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Hooray.
Yeah. Did you both see it? Or?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
It was like it was like a gameplay trailer of the main character just walking around.
Right. A narrative description.
I'm not doing like that
moody
Death Stranding thing.
Oh, blue lighting.
Yeah. There was a cool thing where platforms were appearing
right,
underneath the character's feet. That looked really cool. Because it's running on Frostbite, which is the same engine as Battlefield 1.
Okay.
So it looks really nice.
The main thing it looked like they were trying to show off in that was the animation for jogging and walking, because they kept having their character like change direction, and the character would like slow down and they'd be like, now I'm going to run in this direction, now I'll slow down slightly, speed up again. And I was just like, okay, you've made nice animation.
I just remember in Mass Effect, I can't even remember which one, but like the jogging always did look a little bit weird.
Yeah. As long as they remove that thing from the Mass Effect games where you could use the fact that you can sprint as like a way to know if enemies are still about.
Oh,
Because if there are no enemies about, then
Yeah.
you can't sprint. You just do the awkward jog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it looked quite good, and they showed off a single cutscene at the end, which they didn't say at what point of the game it's from, probably quite early. And it's the character going in. I think there was meant to be a party with them, but they removed it for the tech demo thing, because they had a party with them. Them talking about vaults or something that are all
it's
over.
kind of like implies that there are lots of vaults on all the planets in the system, and you'll get to go explore them.
Okay.
Which just reminded me of
Confirmed
Borderlands.
for Fallout
Well,
space.
Borderlands or Fallout,
Yeah. But specifically, Borderlands has like vaults all over various planets.
Yeah.
They've ripped it off, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Hack developers.
Hack fraud developers.
I don't know if you saw, they also mentioned the fact that with the player choice character, the other one will still be in the game.
Oh yeah.
The other sibling, so the game has two potential protagonists, brother or sister.
Okay.
That's the way they described it, but they just confirmed recently that if you pick one of them, the other one will still be a character in the game. Your character, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like the Asari. I think she looks cool as well.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people complained about in the first trailer they released, a lot of the character models looked a bit strange. Like, as the Asari especially looks quite odd. Like, they didn't look a lot like the Asari from the previous game. But yeah, it looks really nice actually. Like, it had less of the like awkward character models that if you go back and play Mass Effect 1, it doesn't look great. But yeah. And obviously they were kind of locked to that for 2 and 3 to keep to a similar visual style. But, yeah. Okay, next up. There was very recently, with all of the Pokemon Go like craziness, I was looking into ways that had actually been used in other games, which I thought was quite cool. There was a load of mods released specifically for GTA 5, where people had actually implemented Pokemon Go into GTA 5.
What?
So it adds Pokemon models which wander through the world, just waiting to be caught and stuff, and the character gains... I think they just reuse like rocks or something like that, but you can throw Pokeballs to catch them.
No, they should have made it so that because you can use your phone in GTA, you could only look at it through your phone.
You can use the phone to interface with it, so you have to look at your Pokemon on your phone.
No, I just want it to be that like you have to actually play Pokemon Go in GTA. Like you have to walk around and then look at the character's phone
swipe it.
and then swipe it. There's a little squirtle on it.
And all you see is just groups of people wandering around on their phones.
The best thing about it, what I found, was the fact that all of the Pokemon models are based on like the same sort of underlying skeleton. So when they walk, they all sort of do the same awkward walk. So you've got Charizard walking along with like his arms out, waddling in the exact same way as Pikachu and everything. It's just terrifying. But yeah, like because of the big boom and everything, there was a huge number of downloads for it, and it's this like silly mod that barely works rocketed to really high in the rankings for GTA mods. Yeah. And like another one actually. Ubisoft also recently have been hinting about the fact they're going to be doing a second season pass for Rainbow Six Siege, which I thought was quite cool.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they've just got we've seen the game come back alive. It's got quite a steady community now.
But we've played Rainbow Six. I played a fair amount of Rainbow Six Siege, and they've released 3 DLC packs for that, which I thought would just pretty much be the end of the game, considering they've dropped it down to £20 now, and there's like a free mode for it and everything, where you can get the game for free, and you have to buy things like using pay to win. I thought the game was pretty much dead, but it's quite impressive actually. They brought
Somehow you just snuck pay to win in there.
Yeah, it is, well, kind of is.
Yeah, game's good though.
Yeah.
If you buy the proper full version of it.
Yeah.
I don't buy season passes though.
No.
I just think they're bad ideas.
No. This was just released. There was a load of what they called a load of surveys sent out to customers of people who played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, like asking, would you be willing to buy another game and stuff like that.
Can we take more of your money, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just think it was cool the fact that they managed to bring that game back from the dead, because it kind of flopped on release a bit.
I don't know if it flopped on release. It did pretty well for a little while. It's just like most multiplayer games, it didn't really stick, and now it seems to have come back again because they've supported it a lot, which is nice.
Yeah. Because I think they recently overtook the number of players they had on release. They have more...
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is
cool.
Pretty impressive. Evolve would never got to that point again.
Yeah, I don't know how Evolve's done since it swapped to the free-to-play version. I haven't played it since.
No.
Which is a shame, because I really liked the game, but...
Yeah, but I noticed on Steam it changed its name. It's called like Evolve
It's
Second
called
something.
Second Hunt or something. I can't remember. Yeah, like they handled that really well because they swapped it to a free-to-play game, but they made it so that if you had the game, it unlocked everything in it. Like you didn't have to grind like other people would and things like that. And the game itself was good, just handled so badly.
Yeah,
so very badly.
I mean, I heard a load of stuff about it when they announced they're doing all this Second Hunt stuff, but I haven't heard anything about it since. So. Don't know, I'm not sure how successful that was. Have to look into that. Cool. And I'll finish off with a very strange story I found, specifically a developer for the a recent Lego MMO that got cancelled. And they were talking about how why the MMO was cancelled and stuff and issues that they were having during development. And apparently the main reason that the MMO got cancelled was because the company developing it realised how utterly impossible developing an effective penis detection algorithm is in models. Basically, the MMO allowed players to create models of certain things that would go into the world. And they were like, kids are going to be playing this game, so just develop an algorithm that can detect it. Like, yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. But apparently players were getting so creative, they weren't able to keep up with it anymore.
Right.
So players were doing things like, you could only view it from certain angles and it would look like it.
They're like artwork, basically. Yeah. That's quite cool. It's a shame they got rid of it.
And they were saying, in the end, they gave up with an actual automated algorithm. And the way they did it is they literally just had a team of moderators whitelisting every single creation.
I just like the idea of these people going through and being like, oh, I don't know, could that be a dick from this angle? I'm not sure. Like, they should have a scale of dickness or something for each object.
Yeah. And it got to the point where apparently this massive team of moderators were the single biggest cost in this MMO's monthly operations. Just hiring all these people.
What a miserable job.
That might be a dick. That might be a dick. But yeah, that was literally people's 9 to 5 job. To look at screenshots, to look for penises. Yeah, and the developer said... there was a number of employees that also almost got fired because apparently it was a common problem for the developers, but also when they were messing about testing things. One of the most common things that people just build to mess around with systems is just build a dick in the game. So yeah,
and then the police force come in. They're like, nobody in here better be building dicks. We'll catch you.
It was a zero tolerance policy apparently. Yeah, because apparently a child who was taking a tour of the building almost saw one in the game.
Oh no! How scandalous! A Lego penis. They'll never grow up.
Yeah, the developer found it quite hilarious, despite the fact that essentially one of the big projects they're working on got canned. And he was saying he doesn't understand. He thinks it's genuinely a miracle that it hasn't had Microsoft or Mojang hadn't been sued over Minecraft for something similar like that, because it's a game where you can make anything in, and people make a lot of horrible stuff in it. Yeah. Anyway, that's not necessarily news, but various recent stories.
That was a lot of news.
Yeah, it was quite a lot.
Out.
Yeah.
You know that now.
Okay. I thought we'd move on, and for the next half of it, we'd just talk about games we've been playing recently, just because it's been a while since we've actually had the Game Jam radio show, so I thought we'd talk a bit about games we've been playing since then, or games we've been playing recently. Do you want to start with Panda, just because I know you've been playing one game in particular, you've been playing Dark Souls 3
Dark Souls 3. I'm always late to the party. I wait for deals. I wait for deals, right? So, but so I got that and played it like a lot. I play it very heavily in a small period, and I don't know what's happened recently, but I've either run out of steam or just maybe not enjoying it as much as I thought it was.
Well, how long a break did you take between playing? Because you played 1 and 2 in basically quick succession.
Yes.
As soon as one finished,
I immediately started the next one. Yes.
So how long a break did you take between 2 and 3 then?
Few months, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, 2 was absolutely soul destroying. So I don't know whether. I mean, one of the main problems was I bought the Scholar of the First Sin edition, which is essentially an edition where they went, let's make everything harder for no real good reason, and in addition to that, literally they take enemies from the end of the game and put them in the beginning areas and stuff, and there's no option to put it back to normal. You have to play the harder mode. There's no but I mean, I did it all, but it wasn't fun. It was just
It seems weird that they didn't even give it as like a difficulty option.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah.
It's literally a separate version you buy, and they're separate. If you want to play both versions, you have to buy them separately.
Okay, I thought it was like a DLC pack.
No, it is
pretty terrible.
Actual, yes, actual.
By which I mean it's totally fine because it's Dark Souls, therefore it can get away with it.
Well, they can.
I don't know if it did though. I think everyone still hates
two is rated really high.
Really?
Rated really high.
Yeah, I think most people say it's a good game. It's just not what they wanted.
Yes.
From Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, would you say that your empathy Estus flask is empty then?
Yes.
Okay. Well, is there anything in particular about Dark Souls 3 that you've just not been enjoying then, or is it that you just...
I don't know. I guess, like, the novelty in 1 was it was so... Well, there was so much new... I hadn't really played many games like that before.
Yeah.
So there were so many... And they really put a lot of thought, apart from, like, a few bosses which they've even admitted to not having time to finish. They put in so much thought into all the bosses. And I love bosses. That's the part of Dark Souls I love. And they put in so much thought and love into it all. And some of them feel so real and like they're actual characters and things like that.
So do you think they haven't done that in 3
Well,
then?
in 3 they have, but a lot of it is obviously taken from... I've played all of the other 3 Souls games just before playing this one.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is taken from those games.
Isn't it meant to be like a homage to it though? Like when they include that?
That doesn't do much for me, unfortunately, especially because I recently played them all.
Oh yeah, you're not going to have nostalgia for something.
And like they haven't really got anything like as fantastic as... I mean, all the bosses so far I've either found blindingly easy or very difficult. And the very difficult is 2 of them, which I just found excruciatingly annoying.
Yeah.
Is
that not the case for the other games though?
So the thing I always single out, there's a few things I always single out between Dark Souls 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right? And one of these things is that Dark Souls 2, they tried to inflict difficulty, but in a different way to Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1, there's only 2 bosses where there's more than one thing you're fighting at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? And both of them, they think really carefully. Both the enemies have different movesets, they do different things. And they actually feel like they're working in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, because then they had their the one that everyone talks about, the one with the big hammer and everything.
Biggie Smalls, yeah.
They're designed to sort of pause to attack. So one of them will pause, the other one won't attack at the same time.
And they're very different. They feel like different. Like they actually feel like they're working together as well.
Yeah.
Even though they're just programmed.
I don't think Dark Souls AI had the capability to actually work together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But they did it in such a way that it looked like it.
Whereas in Dark Souls 2, all they did was they had like 50% of the bosses were multiple enemies, and they would just have the same movesets and attacked at the same time. And like I remember one of the things, it wasn't even that hard a boss. It was just I didn't like it. It was these I think they're called Sentry Guardians or something. I can't remember specifically what they're called. But it was just 3 of the same enemy, which all had massive, like really long ranged attacks. And they just all would do them at the same time. And it was in this like a enclosed room as well. So you're like trying to dodge all these huge swings. And
was 2 made by a different team, or was it just made by?
So the lead. Well, okay. So the guy who is famous for Dark Souls was not working on it.
Yeah.
Essentially, so he came in near the end of Demon Souls.
Okay.
So it's only that's why Demon Souls wasn't such a massive... Well, this is my theory. Demon Souls wasn't a massive hit, it was more of a cult classic.
Yeah.
And then Dark Souls, he was pretty much leading it, and that was super popular. Then Dark Souls 2, he was off making Bloodborne, which is also probably the big super popular one, and then he came back for Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
But I don't know how much influence he had in Dark Souls 3, or whether he felt... Because he felt it was the last one.
Yeah.
They've made it clear that they're not doing any more.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel as much of... So a lot of the bosses have been either... Also, in Dark Souls 3, there's a big every boss has like 2 phases. Almost every boss has 2 phases. I'm not a massive fan of the phase thing, because a lot of the phases are just... He does all these things which are annoying, and now he does it, and there's like a copy of him that does it as well, and it's like, well,
I guess it's just to add to their health bars. I
guess.
Yeah,
it's like I've already learned how to fight. Now you're just making me fight against 2 of the same guy.
That's a shame. But
it's still, it's still really good. Still definitely worth playing. But I think it's largely because, as I say, I've played all the other ones quite recently, so it's not really like I've hugely enjoyed most of the game. It's just I've got into the...
One thing I want to know about it is the fact I've heard that the difficulty curve is different to the previous games. In like one has quite a big
So-
spike and then slowly
So
takes
I've been
down.
talking to different people. So for me, I've found the same difficulty throughout, apart from 2 bosses.
Okay.
Actually, three bosses. However, I've been talking to people who play mages,
Hmm.
and they've told me that the first half of the game is difficult, and then the second half of the game is just trivial.
Okay.
Whereas the only times I've struggled is in the second half of the game.
Would you think, in terms of like explaining things, does it do any different? Like, because in 1, nothing is as explained at all. Do they do anything different in 3 for that kind of stuff, or is it?
Well, I think it's still similar along the lines of that, but I think it may even be a little bit. It even steps you along. It helps you. I think it does. I think it does lead you a bit more than the other
Yeah,
games
I've
did.
heard that the very, very beginning sort of leads you up to things
Yeah.
a bit more. But...
The other thing is with all the NPCs and things, it's a bit easier to work out what's going on with a lot of them.
Okay. Yeah, it was just my thought, because you said that like part of the reason you weren't as much of a fan is because they took a lot of stuff from previous games. But if you just started on 3, then all of the stuff you're seeing is just going to be brand new to you. So I don't know how
It's true.
it would work
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
your
I think
introduction to
like,
the series.
Yeah, I think Dark Souls 3 is definitely a good introduction. I mean, I would never recommend Demon Souls or Dark Souls 2 as a starting introduction to the Souls series.
Maybe, like, I don't know, it's hard to judge in that kind of thing, because you were saying that they repeat a lot of the enemies from the first game. And
It's like, so for example, there's one of the bosses which essentially, in Demon Souls, there's a boss where you can't hit it without a certain weapon. You have to find a certain weapon in the environment, and then it does a massive, like, air blade and hits it in the air.
Yeah.
Right? There is a boss in Dark Souls 3, which is literally you find a sword in the area, and it does a massive air blade thing, and you can't defeat it without that.
Isn't it like really obvious? Like it's literally right in front or at the back of the room.
It's
like,
at the back
really
of the room,
obvious.
and it's pretty obvious, yeah. And the other thing is if you do an NPC's storyline, who's my favourite NPC, and I did do it, he does actually make the boss rather trivial.
Okay.
Because he has that, he walks in with that weapon, and then if you just like distract the giant while he does that to him over and over again, he just destroys him. Yeah, and also there's like a prison area, which is exactly like Demon Souls, and there's just a lot of things which are.
I know there's also like the Bloodborne village as well.
Yes, it's quite similar. Yeah, essentially.
It's like a theme.
Remember this bit from the game that we didn't actually technically make, but
it's still a really good game worth playing.
Fair enough. Yeah, Ibs still been playing a fair amount. He's interestingly been playing it a lot with the Steam controller. He's been playing with the Steam controller quite a bit, which doesn't have the thumbsticks or anything like that, which I would have thought would make it quite difficult. But
actually, I realise the other thing is, I think my opinions of Dark Souls 2 and 3 are probably very skewed, because I think the aim of them two was much more focused on multiplayer. Definitely in 2, because it actually upgraded the multiplayer to 4 people rather than 3. And I usually, with all the games, I've done a first playthrough where essentially I've refused to even summon for them, and that does make some of the bosses really, really tough.
But Dark Souls 1 wasn't really balanced for multiplayer. I played a lot of it co-op, and that's kind of why the only interest that I had in 2 was in playing it through co-op. But yeah, 1 was like, there was a section, the Anolondo, my friend did it, and it took him like, I can't remember, a number of hours, and then he joined me, and we played it through in like 15 minutes, because it was so easy with 2 people. But
it's just because enemies get distracted.
The whole game is designed around like what you were describing with the bosses is kind of the logic that I apply to all of the enemies. Is that they really put a lot of effort into like making the enemies very like boss fights would be in other games, where you have to sit, watch, and then be like, okay, I can find the opening point is at this bit. I'm going to like dance around it. But then when you have two of you, one of you can just stand behind the enemy and then hit it in the back, and it's like as soon as you can stun it, you're in.
Yeah, that's the. Like, it's any sort of game which sort of Monster Hunter is very similar in that sense that having 2 players far easier than having 1, because the monster's not constantly concentrating on you. You have openings where it's on the other person. It is very like that.
That's why I guess in Monster Hunter they try and counter that more by having a lot of the monsters have like sweeping attacks that will attack behind them and in front of them. So you get that a lot more, I think, in the games that are more in the newer games, just because they are designed. All the monsters are designed.
So I feel like if I've been playing it through multiplayer, because certainly everybody I knew who, when they bought it when it came out, were playing a lot of them were playing in multiplayer and stuff like that, and just having more fun. Maybe I should just let go of that pride of defeating every boss solo and just finish it.
Yeah. Well, when you play through it again, maybe you'll get...
Yeah, definitely. I started playing Dark Souls 1 through multiplayer, and it's so much fun.
It's really good
It's
fun.
so fun. It is really good.
Yeah. Okay. Henry, what have you been playing recently?
Well, we've both been playing the Battlefield 1 beta.
Yeah.
Which was...
That was pretty good. It finished today, actually.
Has it actually stopped, or does it finish like midnight or something today?
I'm not sure. I think someone's just said it finishes Thursday, so probably midnight, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very... needs work,
Yeah.
is the way I'd describe it.
It looks glorious.
Yeah, it's probably one of the prettiest games. Well, I mean, I thought that about Battlefield 3 when I played the beta for that. I was like, this is amazing, and then they seem to have done it again with Battlefield 1. The Frostbite engine is just amazing.
Yeah.
It seems to be able to do a lot of different types of games, but like the only level is set on a desert. Can't remember, is it called Sinai Desert or something? And it's the British Army against the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
But you have stuff like weather effects can come into play. Like, so when you're playing, sometimes you guys didn't see this when we played it, but you can have an enormous sandstorm come in.
I played when the sandstorms come in before. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, which basically just completely cuts your vision off, which is frustrating, but also fun. But like, you can kind of have like midways between that, where the sun will get blotted out by like some clouds going overhead, and then you have like the sand blowing past you, and you can just look around and be like, "This is so gorgeous." And then you get killed by someone who's sniping half the map away, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Actually, one of the things I thought the coolest about that the Frostbite also does is the fact that the ground can be destroyed. So say there's like a bomber flying by, he'll drop a bomb and it'll leave a big crater, and then that crater's there the whole game.
And you can use that as cover. Like there was one of the times when we were holding on a point, there'd just be a bomb crater, and I was like, I'm just going to go prone in here. And there are a bunch of tanks nearby, but they don't see you because you're lying on a crater.
And like all the buildings can be destroyed and knocked over.
There's
and
a lot
stuff.
Environmental effects are always great.
Yeah.
Battlefield's never been perfect. Like in Battlefield 3, they kept, and early ones, they were like, oh, we've got all this like perfect destructibility, and Rainbow Six does a much better job of this because it's on a smaller scale. But the way it worked in Battlefield before was always like, you'd have a building, and it was basically, if you shot these 4 quadrants, building would collapse. So it wasn't as good as destructibility as they said. But in this one, they've like added it to lots of more little things. Like on the map, there's like one of the points has a sort of like over the point is on the ground, but above it you can stand on like a rocky outcrop bit if you walk up a really big ridge, and you can like sit up there as a sniper or something else and cover the point below you. But that ridge up there can be shot and blown up. Like it's just,
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, because when I played and I didn't know it could get blown up, and then I joined game with you guys, and I was like, I'm going to go up there, and I looked over and there was just a pile of rubble, and I was like, oh, I guess we can't go to that bit of the map now.
I guess that explains why the assault can get the dynamite, because I was just like, surely this is just a worse grenade, or you just put it on top of a point someone can capture, and then when they try and capture it, you blow it up. But like, if you can destroy the scenery with it, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's pretty wicked.
Scenery destruction has always been a fantastic tool for fun, I feel, because I remember, if anybody remembers Red Faction Guerrilla, the endless fun of just the hammer knocking down buildings.
One of the things I found with it there's a lot of sort of obviously in the aid of trying to make it more realistic and everything. So like if you get into a tank and you're the gunner, your screen is limited to literally just like a band in the centre of the screen. And like, that's really cool that you've done that, but it's really awkward to fire at anything. After you've played it for about like an hour doing that, you're like, I'd like to be able to see now. It's kind of strange. I was going to say, I mentioned this to you, that in previous Battlefields you could always go third person, even if you weren't, at least as far as I'm aware, if you were like riding shotgun in a jeep or something, you could press the third person key and just watch in third person. But in this one, for some reason, only the driver can do that. So, like, if you're a gunner on a tank, like, you can't look at what's going on around your tank, so your driver will be like, oh, there's someone next to us, and you're like, I can see all of 2 feet. So, there's just also a few little weird, like, not bugs, they're just weird design decisions. So, obviously, you have squads, you have individual squads where you work together, and you have a squad leader who will tell everyone in the squad where to go and what we're attacking next. So you can do that as you're like looking around, like you look in the real world and you say like, oh, there's a flag in the distance, everyone go capture that flag. But the thing is, when you're in a vehicle and you're like the gunner or something like that, and you don't have 360-degree movement, you can't do it unless you can directly point at that thing. So you have to get out of the vehicle, look at it, and then get back in again.
Yep, so you can be on the point capturing it and not be able to set the order to attack it because you can't see the flag from where you are.
Yeah.
And worse than that, if you're the driver of a vehicle, you cannot give orders like that. And it's just like, I hope this stuff gets added, because in the previous game, squad leaders could do it off the map. Like, they could bring up the map and do it, and you just can't in this one. Like, it's like,
I was
why?
thought that there'd be a way to do it, because I kept opening the map and be like, because it stays open and like it's the right size for it and everything, but just like, no way of selecting what you want to do.
There's a lot of like really little frustrating things like that. Where I'm just like, I wish they'd fix them, but I don't have any guarantee that they will. Is the worry?
Yeah. That was the thing. It's a pretty expensive game, so I'm not willing to pay full price, like 60, 70 quid, however much it is, for the base edition, if I don't know for certain that all this stuff will be sorted. Plus, I don't know how much content's actually going to be in it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things people said about Battlefront.
I think the thing that worries me is, like, the unlock system, because that was one of the worst things in Battlefield 3. If you hadn't played the game for the 30 hours that everyone else had played when they bought the game on release, you would go into it and it would be like, well, you've got a tank, but everyone else's tank has like smoke that it can deploy and like various other types of shot, like you can get a anti-infantry type of shot instead, but because you haven't played it that long, you haven't unlocked all this stuff. And they've changed the unlock system so that you can like choose what you want to unlock in order, because you get like these war bonds. Like how one of the Call of Duties did it, where it was like you choose what order you want to unlock stuff, but it's still like
they're
just
still locked behind
people.
levels.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah, on top of that, there's still things that are level locked, and it's just like that really frustrates me in multiplayer design, because I like Overwatch's approach where it's just everyone has everything.
Yeah,
like
I can kind of understand them wanting to, like, people who've played a bit to be able to buy things, and like I don't mind it too much. It's a bit of a frustration, but if it's like these weapons are about equivalent. Like for TF2, the thing they initially were going for, I think, was the fact like you would unlock weapons and they'd be alternatives.
Did it work?
No, it didn't
No,
work.
it didn't.
Because it's really hard to balance things like that. But if that's what they were going for, fair enough.
I can kind of understand with like foot soldiers having different weapons, but when it comes to things like the medic doesn't start with a med pack. All he gets is bandages that he has to repeatedly throw at people to heal them. And then you have to unlock a med kit, which has like been a staple of every Battlefield game, where you put it on the ground and it heals people passively. And it's just like, that's just a direct upgrade to bandages. Why would you ever want bandages instead of that? And then like giving a tank the things in Battlefield 3, or like a jet, you had to unlock flares in Battlefield 3 for your jet. So if anyone else was fighting against you and they had a jet that had flares, you'd be shooting at them, they'd go, oh, flare that, and then they'd shoot at you and you go, I can't do anything. I just die.
Yeah.
It's like, it's frustrating. But
it's a bit of an annoying upgrade system, yeah.
They also changed the way you spawn into vehicles, which is unusual, and again, didn't explain it in the beta. So like, when we were playing, we played the whole evening, and then I explained it to one of our friends who just didn't realise that you can only spawn into vehicles that... Not all the vehicles directly spawn on the map. You have to be dead and select like a spawn point that tells you when a vehicle becomes available. Then you choose it.
Okay, I thought the numbers next to it were just the number of vehicles that are available currently and flying around.
So what happens is you have to be dead, then you select the point that has, it'll have like the point will be a circle, and then around it it'll tell you like there are 2 tanks or 2 planes, and then you click on the tank icon, and then down the bottom of the screen you choose which type of tank you want to spawn in.
I never did that. I just got into tanks
this is
that
how
were
we got
already in the
stuff
world.
like, there's a bit where we drove around in the land ship, which is one of my favourite vehicles in the game, which is like a 6-person tank, which is just 2 giant tank treads, and has like only got a little machine gun on the front, but it's got 2 cannons on the side that you need people to get in and mount and use. And we did like a really good run in that, but almost no one used it, because it was always like everyone would just go, there's a tank, and they'd hit deploy and they'd spawn in light tank, because that's the default. And I'm just like, it's so stupid. So like one of our friends wanted to fly a plane for ages, didn't get to, because he didn't realise you had to be dead and select the plane and go, okay, now I want this.
Yeah, I never got to fly. I got to ride in the back of a load of planes, but never got to fly them. Yeah, it's the kind of thing, like, I had fun playing in the beta, but unless there's like either a major price drop or like, if I might just keep following it and see if they...
It's probably a game I'm likely to buy, just because I've got a friend who I played Battlefield 2 with loads, I played Battlefield 3 with loads, and that was probably the game we had the most fun playing together and really, really enjoyed. And then all the Battlefield since have kind of just been really disappointing. And then this is the first one where I've played it and been like, oh, this actually looks pretty cool again, but I'll try and find it cheaper, because it's going to be expensive.
So wait, are they going to have in-game transactions to get unlock stuff? Or?
It'll probably be a similar thing, like where you can buy, like you unlock with these war bonds, which is just like points to unlock, and it's most likely you can pay to get them.
It's mad, because they're doing it for above like It's like
Call of Duty does it as well with like the crates. You can buy more crates for money.
But
Overwatch does it as well.
Call of Duty doesn't like do base price 70 quid is all I'm saying, right? Do they? Or
if you probably got it on, if Activision had their own delivery service, then yes, they would.
But is it even being sold anywhere other than like through Origin?
I mean, there'll be a physical copy. You can probably get it on like Green Man Gaming and other
probably
things.
like after a while you have to use like vouchers and stuff for it to get it cheaper. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'm probably going to keep an eye out to see if the price goes down. If there's some crazy deal like EA goes mad and like does a. I think at one point they did do a big sale where they were actually.
Yeah, they have actually done some Origin sales. It's just that I don't think many people saw them because
no one uses Origin.
No one uses Origin. But yeah,
they give out games for free quite often.
That's nice. I've got a few free games. But I was trying to think about what else I've been playing. I finished games recently. What did I finish? Finished Tomb Raider a while ago. That was good. Oh yeah, and then I finished Shadows of Mordor, which which was also good. I'm just sort of completing a back catalogue of stuff.
Yeah. I have a list on. I have a category on my Steam thing, which is just like games I need to complete at some point. So yeah, that's pretty massive. But yeah, recently I've just been playing a combination of Overwatch when we've been playing it as a group, Battlefield 1 when we had access to it, and single player I've been playing Stardew Valley. That game it's just Harvest Moon, as in like there is extra stuff put onto it. Like there's a dungeon crawling thing for it, which is actually fairly elaborate, like fighting monsters and stuff like that. But it is just Harvest Moon, the majority of it. You're in the dungeon, so you can gather materials, so you can farm better. But yeah, that game is such a time sink. Seriously, like it's the kind of thing where because it's in the game, the main resources you have are like energy, which goes down very, very quickly, and time, because time jumps forward in 10-minute intervals. And you don't have enough time to do like anything like that you really want to complete, so you have to keep playing more and more days.
So and it's just like real life.
Yes, and there's no way to quick save, so you have to keep playing full days. So you have to play it in blocks of like I don't know how long a day is actually. Maybe about 20 minutes. You've got to play the game in 20-minute blocks. So you think, I'll just play one more day, and then another one, and then it's like 1 a.m. and you've been playing it for 3 hours.
You get that chicken coop.
I haven't bothered. No. I'm not a noob. Don't buy the chicken coop immediately. When I was looking for stuff for like
you looked up guides for Stardew Valley.
No, I was looking at things that because obviously in a lot of games like that there are things that you don't know initially that people regret. Where it's like, oh, if I'd gone to this location, I would have been given this for free or something like that, or I'd make this mistake. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look up a video and try and find all the things that all the mistakes everyone makes early on. So I watched the video, and the video is pretty much just like, don't buy a chicken coop, don't do it,
but
don't
chickens
fall
are
for
so
it.
cute in the game.
Yeah,
they look adorable.
They taunt you. Like early on, they say like, oh, you should get a chicken coop, you should do it, but it costs a load of money, and it doesn't become profitable for ages. And I'm all about that money.
The important question is, who are you romancing, Pete?
Oh god, I can't remember her name. The blonde character who lives very close to my house, so it's easy to go and give her gifts every day. Yeah. Also, one of the things over like Harvest Moon as well, there's actually reasons to befriend people besides the like romance options. Like you get given stuff, which is not quite nice. And the fishing mini game is unnecessarily obtuse. Like it's really awkward to do. But now that I know how to do it, it's the only thing I want to do in the game. Like, it feels like I've beaten the game at something. Like, when I first started playing it, it doesn't really tell you how it's supposed to work. Basically, you cast the rod out, and then when you get hit, you have to tap it at the right time. And then it opens like
It's a bar, isn't it? It's
there's
like
a bar,
keeping the fish in the bar.
And there's a fish going up and down, and you have to keep the bar in there by tapping the button. Or like clicking.
It's like that helicopter game where you made the helicopter go
just
up and
one
down.
Of those, yeah. But they made it like really awkward to do, and it like if you drop the bobber too quickly, it bounces off the bottom and you instantly lose and stuff like that. And it's horrible. It's just not fun at all. But now I know how to do it. It's really fun.
You're
because
just like, I've beaten you.
Yeah.
I've beaten you, fishing game.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why he's kept it as like hard as it is. Because if you go on the forums, people just complain endlessly about how it being too difficult. But yeah,
I've heard I saw an interview with a guy. I'm still amazed that game's made just by one guy.
Yeah, everything, music, art.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's adding a bunch of like different farm layouts and things like that to increase the replayability of the game.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, it's nice to see like, a little game like that get very popular and actually get the support afterwards.
Yeah, because it was just like one guy decided to do this one project by himself for 4 years, and after 4 years he released it and didn't expect that many people to buy it, and it was crazy. Like he said, massive stalls at conventions and stuff like that.
It was quite funny seeing interviews with him because he just seems like such a non-PR guy. Like, he's just a regular guy and seems really awkward when like people are asking him questions about the game. He's like, yeah, I'm putting these things in.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah. I'm actually excited to see what he works on next, to be honest, because like it's really impressive.
You have to wait 4 years for it, though.
Well, I think maybe he'll bring in more people next time, rather than working on the project by himself. But it's very clearly like a labour of love to like the old like Harvest Moon games and everything. Because what's the name of the company? Natsume? Yeah, Natsume, the company who made Harvest Moon, and they've kind of run that series into the ground, and it's just awful now. Like the last few games they've released are the equivalent of just iPhone games, and they're just not good. Yeah,
don't buy
basically.
Sonic games anymore.
Yeah.
But without the rabid fan audience, I guess they were sensibly moved on to a new game.
Yeah, everyone knows that the Harvest Moon games are now terrible. So yeah,
no. Yeah, that's Sonic fans.
Yeah, shout out to Sonic fans. You're all terrible. Okay, well, that was a good first episode. I think we'll leave it at that. This has been whatever we end up naming it. I'll edit the name in
Game
now.
Marmalade.
Game Marmalade after Game Jam.
We need a sign-off thing that we can all awkwardly say.
Okay. Goodbye?
No.
What's... Okay. You suggested. You've got to think of one now.
What?
You've suggested a sign-off thing. You've got to think
that
of
was
one.
It, what?
Oh, okay.
Just what?
Okay. We'll finish on that then. What?
What?